So a big part of this whole conversation for me is saying no when I mean yes, and being able to see the distinction between when my head is stuck in my story of I'm tired, oh my God, I have to get up early, I have a meeting, and I'll be in bed with my husband and he's, we're cuddling and he's clearly aroused and seducing me, and I can feel this amazing responsiveness in my body and my brain just shuts myself down. So I would just love to offer a tool. And how do you learn to differentiate your body's yes and your body's no? Because if we can have that sensory somatic experience of what the yes and the no is, we can often get out of, we can bring our head, our mind, and our body in alignment so that we're not just being run by our stories of saying no to pleasure because it became a pattern and a habit, and actually just inviting that pleasure in because it would feel nourishing and juicy in that moment. So if you want to play along, what I'm going to invite you to do is to find your full body yes. I'm inviting you to close your eyes and just think of a situation in your life when it was a clear yes. There was no hesitation. You were in bliss and joy. And just sort of raise your hand so I have an idea when everybody's there with their experience. Beautiful, thank you. And so just staying in that experience, just tune into the sensations that are present in your body right now. So you're just making a note of, do you feel expansiveness in your chest? Is there tingles? Do you feel warm or cold? So you're just getting an idea of what this beautiful yes feels like in your body. And now I'm going to invite you just to see what emotions are present with this amazing yes experience. What emotions are present? And so you're just tracking them in your brain. And then just tuning into your thoughts. And so you're just tuning in to see if you have a whole bunch of thoughts going at once, or if you're just very clearly focused on one thought, or perhaps there's no thought. And then when you're clear on what this yes feels like in your body with your sensations, your emotions, and your thoughts, you're just really anchoring that in, that this is my body's yes. When you have that anchor, I just invite you to take a deep breath in and slowly open your eyes. On your exhale, and then just take a couple cleansing breaths to clear that. And then I'm going to invite you to close your eyes again so you can feel somatically what a no feels like in your body. Because quite often our brain will be saying, yes, I want to do that. And your body's a clear no. So I would invite you not to think of a person, but to think of something that you really, really dislike. So for me, I really dislike when people don't pick up their dog's shit on other people's lawns or in the path or on the beach. Like, that's a huge dislike for me. So find something that you really dislike that's a clear no in your body. Then you have that, just raise your hand so I can see. Perfect, thank you. And so just dropping in, thinking of that dislike or no in your head, and just tuning into what your body sensations are. What does this dislike and this no feel like in your body? You're aware of tightening, temperatures, tingles. How is your breath when you're in this place of dislike or no? Just really getting those signals and those anchors of what your body's communicating to you with the no. And what emotions come up for you when your body's in this place of no? Just taking a note of those. And then being mindful of your thoughts. What thoughts are arising? Do you have many thoughts shooting in, like one after the other? Are you focused, or are you having no thoughts? So just really tracking and anchoring what your sensations are, what your emotions are, and what your thoughts are when you're in this place of a clear no. What is this? Anchor this in your body. And then just taking a couple deep breaths in and exhaling, and when you're ready, just releasing all of it. So you're just in a place of coming back to presence in our space together. You're letting go of the yeses and the nos. They're firmly anchored in your body. And then just very slowly opening your eyes on your next exhale. And so for me personally, I really find this practice and having this anchored in assists me with creating more cohesiveness in my mind and my body, so that it's easier for me to get clear with what's a yes and what's a no. And if it's a maybe, it's a no.
Can you say that one more time?
The whole thing or the last piece?
If it's a what, it's a no. It's a maybe.
If it's a maybe, it's a no.
If it's a maybe,
it's a no.
maybe it's a no. Or maybe I need to come back and revisit it later, but for now it's a no.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm curious as to what people's experience was, or if they noticed, or if they find it would be if you would find it would be a good tool to help you differentiate when you're maybe not clear.
Participants, if you want to say something as well here and how that felt for you, please feel free to. Coaches?
I do this exercise with my clients a lot, and it's really, really helpful. I remember doing it myself to try to anchor in my yes and no. And I've been one that's always been kind of not really connected to a lot of body sensations. And a lot of times I don't feel a lot going on in my body. So sometimes I go with like images in my head will appear, or thoughts will come in. And so that was really helpful to me too, or like a color, or like you asked if there's a temperature involved there. And then I also came to that realization through that yes and no stuff. If I feel a complete disconnect, that's definitely a no. Because on my yes, I'm in tune with my body and I feel it. So it's really helpful. Thank you.
Thank you.
I love that exercise, Angela. And getting to fully embody that. And, you know, it feels like something that would be fun to revisit over and over and over again, to just get clearer or to see if those sensations have changed. You know, because they possibly change over time. But I also discovered in my body that there was a difference between when I felt like a closed down no and an empowered no. And so like I was playing with that while I was in that moment. I was like, because I could feel my like shoulders curling in and like me like getting small. And I'm like, well, what is like me standing fully in that feeling of the no feel like in my body? And so that was an interesting thing for me to play with. And like, what is the really empowered, celebrated no feel like in my body?
I love that.
I'm so all about that. I really want you to talk more about that. I want to read what the chat says, though, if I can, for a second. So Heidi had said that she loved the idea of looking at consent as self-care. You said that when Stacy was talking, right? Yeah, me too. Absolutely. And then Johnny said he was definitely a no for now, I believe, to sharing. himself. But anchoring in the feeling of yes and no are great. I feel the orgasmic burst in my body when I'm a full yes. Yeah, I felt such an expansion, and that whoo when I felt the yes as well. Johnny also says, like when I was a child and my parents said we were going to the carnival, I feel my body contract on a no. Yeah. And Heidi said, great practice getting to know what my body wants. Empowered no, awesome. Yeah. I think I want to have a whole forum around the contracted or empowered no. Right? I think we can go deep into that. And the same with the yes. Empowered or contracted, yeses and nos. Ooh, writing it down. Anyone else have something to share around this? I felt the contracted no. When you said that, I realized that when she had said no, what I instantly went into was the contracted no feeling, which was really, I was nauseous. And I was like, let's go back to the yes, please. Can we just go back there? Because the yes was just delicious. You know, the yes was expansive and pleasureful. It was so good. But I feel like the empowered no could be just as good. That awareness is just so good. Thank you, Jess.
It was a very, I was like, what about this is contracting and what about this is an opening? Because we are taught that like our no's are very, like there's some shame around having to say no, which is like a contraction that happens, possibly. Not putting that on anybody. But like for me, like there's a getting smaller and feeling like that my no is, it's not okay in a lot of ways. And obviously what's happening in that experience is not okay. That's creating that sensation as well. But you know, it was really eye-opening to be like, okay, so what in this is like me saying no? Like I had some tension in my like cheeks. I had like tension, especially in like my right shoulder, which I've had injured several times, which is very interesting to me. Segue later, but it was like, what does it feel like to fully like feel that expansiveness that I felt in my yes, and to honor that I was a no in those moments.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I really like that. I haven't thought of that before, and so what I'm getting is to get the distinction of what is a yes and what is a no. And so when you have whatever your sensation is, like for me, I feel very expanded in my yes, and then the contract and the no. But I love what you said, Jess, because then after you're clear on your yes and your no, it's like, well, how do I blend that yes to empower my no? That yes, I'm a no. do you see what I mean? How it could be.
It's almost like a yes to no. Right. It's that yes to the response of like, I'm consciously making this decision to not do this.
That's right. Because it was a no in my body. And now that I know it's a no and I can consciously say no.
Right.
Yes. Yeah. So there's lots of ways you could play with it to get that clarity.
Yeah. I love the playing with it.
Yeah. Heidi said empowered no. Awesome. Stacy, appreciate you saying disconnected is a no. Yeah. Good stuff. We're actually talking to next week's forum is how to tap into your inner wisdom, which is a lot like what you just did, I think, with us, Angela, is tapping into that. And then the week after is navigating the no, how to handle our own and others' emotional responses when it comes to that no.
We could just all come back every week.
Let's do it. Let's do it. Anyone else around this?
I do want to touch on what Angela shared about the allowing yourself to have that the consent conversation, especially if you're in any sort of partnership or relationship with that for any sort of period of time, where there's an assumed blanket consent that comes with relationship, right? And it becomes very unconscious in a lot of relationships. It was very unconscious in my relationship. And it was the tuning into my own body's boundaries that I understood that I had to reset those consent conversations. I had to be like, no, actually, I know we're married, but my body's mine. I get to say what, I want, and your body's yours, and you get to say what you want and what is in play today and what is not in play today. And I love that, the idea of the daily conversations where you could just wake up every morning, turn to your partner and be like, well, you know what? I'm a yes to this, and this morning. What are you a yes to? What are you a no to? And then, maybe you play then, or maybe you play in the middle of the day, or maybe that's just a titillation for maybe what happens at the end of the day, where you would possibly check in again and be like, so what are you still a yes to?
What are we yes to today? Yeah. And making it fun and juicy, maybe.